But to see why, you need to know how we're changing and how a changing country changes us. Here's the big picture. The U.S. is at a demographic tipping point, a genuinely historic moment. 2013, it was the first year that a majority of U.S. infants under the age of 1 were non-white. By 2016, white deaths had outnumbered white births, but America's overall population, it's not expected to decrease. And that's because the Black, Asian, and especially Latino and mixed-race populations, they're also growing. They're growing fast. By 2045, the Census Bureau projects that non-Hispanic whites will no longer be a majority, and also that foreign-born residents are going to make up a record share of the population. So when you show people these numbers about how America is changing, what goes through their heads? What is their response?
I think people are hearing these changes and when they read about them.
Skip ahead.
And what she's found helps explain a lot of what we're seeing. For instance, when white political independents who live in the West were told that whites were no longer majority in California, they became 11 percentage points more likely to support the Republican Party. That is a huge change. And it's important to say, this is a human reaction to demographic change, not just a white one. When presented with similar data on the growing numbers of Hispanics, Asian Americans shifted towards more conservative views. Black Americans shifted towards more conservative views. Being told your group is shrinking or that it's losing power, it's...
Losing numbers are associated with losing status, losing power, losing currency.
Hey, so these, Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakakadah, Still honestly positive, this great millstone. Peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. As you can see, man, these Edomites, they're going over the numbers, they're going over it. They're seeing their nation is being done away with. Man, they're seeing that their people are going out. And this country is done, this nation is done. And it doesn't matter what they do, they can't get it back. You know, it's over. The thrill is gone. And just like they showed, man, the deaths of these Edomites is over the births. You know, going to the days of a nice white America with the white picket fence and the little house on the prairie type of family. You know, where these Edomites are just happy, you know, with the white Jesus and the completely white lifestyle. All of that shit is out the window because all those things are being basically, man, they built the house on the sand is what I'm trying to say, is being shifted. You know, the housing economy is fucked up. They're having trouble buying houses, or they're spending an arm and a leg buying houses. Damn, job market is fucked up. You know, the damn Esau's woman or the female Edomites, they're rising up against their male counterparts because they've been used and abused for so long. Hey, you got the so-called dark nations rising up and starting to take over. And you really want to get technical. That does include Elam, and you could throw Ishmael in there too. You could throw Moab in there too, as what Esau considers the dark nations. But now we know the Israelites, we're separate. But I'm just saying from a standpoint of how Esau sees it. And I'm gonna just jump into the scriptures. Hey, because Esau, it's what it say, the browning of America. Hey, so I think it was it last year, earlier this year, the War for the Planet of the Apes came out. Esau versus the apes. As we're supposed to be the apes, so now we're taking over. Now, just like they showed you, when Esau sees his nation being weakened, they start to become Republicans. And that's always what Esau's always done. When they're young and stupid, and rebellious, they're liberals. Then when they get old, they get some money and they become Republican. They want their empire to stand. But it doesn't matter if they're Republican or liberal. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, about their birth and death rate. It's all about the scriptures. This is what the scriptures say about the Israelites. This is Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And even though Jake is outbreeding Esau, still we know Esau's blessing is the sword. So Esau's going to have the power to bring destruction, even through all these birth rates and all this stuff. Esau's going to have the power to bring destruction upon all these nations. And the one he's going to target the most is, once again, the Israelites, the Black, Native American, and Latino people. When we say Latino, we're talking about non-whites. Just make sure I make that plain. So we're still, even though all of this stuff is going on and Esau's starting to try to seek to please the poor, our people are still a little proud about it, because they really believe that what they're doing is working against them. When really it's the Lord on the spiritual level bringing down Esau. It has nothing. The birth rate, that's only a part of it. Us being fruitful and stuff, that's only a part of it. Hey, the ultimate thing we're supposed to do to bring Esau down is come back to our nationality, come back to our law, statutes, and commandments that the Heavenly Father has given us. And so, we know that 2/3 of Israel, despite all these facts, 2/3 of Israel is still going to die. But what you're seeing, man, just to give an overview over what they're trying to say, everybody's forming their tribe. They're tribing up. You have for the longest time, you had the Republican Party. Now you got different factions of that. You got the far right, right? The Donald Trump Republicans. Then you got the regular conservatives, right? That's what they're trying to do, the whole unite the right thing. You got Muslims here. You got Chinese, but then even among Chinese, you got different types of Chinese. You got the upper class Chinese, and then you got the lower, Chinese food place Chinese, and the lower class ones, who live in the same hood with Jake and shit, or maybe they'll live next to Issachar. So with that, you got the Catholics, even amongst Esau, you got the Orthodox Jews, and it's a tribal thing. That's why you're seeing the different workings of each of these tribes. You just had these Catholic priests get exposed for molesting thousands of children, but of course that's their tribe. They wanted to deal with that internally, but it got so bad that it leaked out. And the same thing with the so-called Orthodox Jews, which they're not really the Jews. They deal with some internal shit. They're under their own laws too, and they deal with it internally. And such is the same with Israel. The real Israelites, or let me say, the hopeful elect of Israel, the men that the Lord is dealing with, which is a great millstone, and the different affiliates of Great Millstone. It's the same thing. We deal with things internally as well, but except we deal with them according to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai. Okay, and you can read and follow after the way that brothers deal with things is according to the scriptures. Because you even have different factions of Israelites, but look no further. You're looking for Great Millstone if you're looking for understanding. And so, the nations are dividing up tribe against tribe. Hey, just like it talks about in 2nd Esdras 15, a man's neighbor is going to be one of his greatest enemies. And you're going to have people coming together. I think it was just an interview, it was a Big U interview on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about, they were asking him, are gangs good or bad? But he was saying, anytime you have men together, they're going to organize, they're going to come together as a collective. And that's a true statement. And then he even said that, what we did wasn't the right way to go. It was the wrong way to go about doing things, and I know he probably feels guilty about a lot of the different shit that he was involved in, because they did a lot of foul shit. But that's for them to work out their salvation on that. But men were always organizing. That we're seeing now. We're seeing men in these different organizations. The top one being, once again, the Edomites. This is the one that's going to go down. And they know they're going down. And there's no way to stop it. Even if they try to, get a little inclusivity to us and the Hispanics and to or the Black, Native American, and Latino people. Even if they try to, bring us into the fold, it's not going to change anything.
How a more diverse America makes you feel is the core division in our political and demographic change, not just a white one.
Getting on the train. And that little exposure was enough to move these attitudes in the survey. They're more likely to say we should send those children of immigrants back to Mexico. They're more likely to say we should decrease immigration from Mexico. And they're even more likely to endorse that English should be the official language of the United States.
We saw a version of this in the election then too, right?
So in states, and even in small areas of states, in these counties where the Spanish population changed very rapidly, we saw that these voters had moved towards supporting Donald Trump. And a lot of them actually look like they're these people that previously have been Democrats.
So here then is what we know. Even gentle, unconscious exposure to reminders that America is diversifying, and particularly to the idea that America is becoming a majority-minority nation, it pushes folks towards more conservative policy opinions, towards more support of the Republican Party. So what happens when those reminders aren't gentle?
Massive demographic changes have been foisted upon the American people. And they're changes that none of us ever voted for, and most of us don't like.
Our Christian heritage will be cherished, protected, defended like you've never seen before.
Oh man, hey. And now why did he say that? Is he really talking about the Christian heritage? No, he's talking about Edomite supremacy. He's talking about keeping his people on top, just like they just showed you. These regions where the sons of Jacob are flooding into it, they're starting to try to switch over to Trump. They're becoming Republican supporters. They're trying to preserve their empire because they see Israelites taking over.
When Obama was elected in 2008, there was all this talk of America moving into a post-racial moment. But the mere existence of Obama's presidency made a lot more of politics about how you felt about race. It had this effect on healthcare, the stimulus package, Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party. Hell, it even had this effect on how people felt about Obama's dog.
So the dog is kind of a fun experiment on a serious topic. Both Teddy Kennedy, a well-known liberal Democrat, and Barack Obama have the same dog. Their two dogs are actually related, Portuguese water dogs. So let's see how people respond to these dogs when you tell one that it's Ted Kennedy and one that it is Barack Obama's. What happens is that when you tell people it's Barack Obama's, racial liberals like the dog more, racial conservatives like the dog less. Obama polarizes more because of who he is rather than what he says and does. And so Obama goes through great lengths in both campaigns to try to tamp down racial divisions, to not talk about race. When he does talk about race, he does so in a message of personal responsibility.
And there was something real here. A few decades ago, a multiracial voter base, it couldn't drive American politics like it can now. Obama won in 2012 with only 39% of the white vote. Previous Democratic candidates, they lost elections in big ways with a lot more support by whites. But by 2016, Trump also proved that a candidate who was explicitly talking to white fears about race could win.
Republicans now have a temptation to explicitly appeal to race. And you're seeing this throughout Republican primaries in the 2018 cycle, and you're seeing it the reverse on the Democratic side. Abolish ICE is a good example. That is a policy that Democrats would not have been on board with in the 1990s, but their bases have moved, and so the incentives have moved as well.
Now, to say American politics isn't for Trump.
So basically, they're playing upon people's emotions, and that's all politics is, playing upon people's emotions. The Democrats have to now play upon, like you said, They had to play upon the Israelites. They had to play upon Mexican people. They had to play upon black people, Black Lives Matter and all this shit. And the Republicans, they're playing the white people now. They're starting to pander to them, even the poor ones, when in the past, they weren't really interested in dealing with poor white trash. Hey, so, you can watch the full video. It's a Vox video. But it's definitely a good topic. Hopefully I was edifying for you. Call Lo Yabashim Yahushua. Shalom.